The brain is an association machine. So it always is making associations or connections with everything, especially in an environment, which is why, I mean, like, moving is such a crazy way to level up in life, because you're taking your brain out of an environment, putting it into a brand new one where there are no prior associations, there's no old identity. So your brain kind of just has to like build this new construction of who you are in this new space. And, environment is huge for that. And the people around you are huge for that. But also your habits and your behaviors are identity anchors as well. And so, if you're trying to shift your identity to someone that is, likes to go to the gym and exercise frequently, you also need to be acting like that, right? You also have to follow through on your word, which is huge. And I always say, you know, what do you trust? Like, if someone came to you every single day and was like, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and they never do it, like, what
Yeah.
would you believe? Their actions or their words?
Yeah.
Like, we trust
Yeah.
people's
Yeah.
actions. And it's like, you wouldn't be able to trust them. And your brain is no different. Like, when you're constantly doing the affirmations or the visualizations, and you can do that all day long, but
But you're not acting on
if
it.
you're not acting on it, then what do you think your brain is going to believe?
You're going to feel like you're a fraud probably also. It's going to hurt your identity, right? If you're saying, I am doing this, but then you're actually physically not following through, what happens to your brain or your nervous system when you constantly break your own word?
You lose self-trust and self-confidence, and also that's very dysregulating to your nervous system.
Very.
I always say, like, discipline is nervous system regulation. And that's because, going back to this example of, you wouldn't really be able to trust somebody that was always saying one thing and doing another. In fact, you'd probably have your head on a swivel around those people. Like, you're not,
Constantly.
right.
Checking your back constantly. Yeah.
And so when you're always saying you're going to do one thing and you're not doing it, your brain is on a swivel with you. And that's dysregulating.
Mm.
You feel unsafe in your own body because you can't trust yourself.
Wow.
And then when your nervous system is dysregulated, well, then that's the energy flowing through you, and that's the energy you're
Mhm.
putting out. And other people can feel the state of your nervous system. The environment can feel that. Everything around you can feel that. That's the energy put out. And then, you're not manifesting the life that you want from that
You're not.
state.
Well, you're draining your energy and you're exhausting yourself. Your nervous system is weakening. Your health is weakening. You're not vibrating and emitting the energy at the highest level that you could. And I think it's important and listen, we're all going to make mistakes and we're never going to be a perfect 100% in integrity with our word 100% of the time. Like, we're going to make mistakes, but the more consistent you can be, the more empowered you will be as well. Something you talked about a number of times is identity so far. What is an identity mismatch, and how does someone know that's the real reason their goals, their relationship, or success keeps falling apart no matter what they try?
I think the way you can maybe discover if you have one is by asking that question of whatever it is that you want, whether it be the relationship, the job, who is the version of me that has that? And getting really clear on that. And then asking yourself, okay, am I in alignment with that, or am I out of alignment with that? And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fair to notice, though, that there is always going to be a gap. But I think that that gap is beautiful, because the work is never done. But that means that there's always more to become, and there's always more to grow into. And I think
Yes.
that's beautiful. And I think actually having the ability to identify where that gap is, it kind of moves you from feeling like, oh, I'm stuck and I don't know what to do next, to, I know exactly what I need to do
Mm-hmm.
next. And that's empowering. So it's not about labeling, oh, this is
Yeah.
where I'm out of alignment with my version of me who has it all, and that's why I'm not getting it. It's like, no, it's like, okay, cool. Now I have clarity. Like, I know exactly what I need to do.
Yeah.
So I think that's that identity mismatch. And if someone is, really wanting to achieve something, do something, and they find themselves just continuing to fall back to old patterns, I mean, they can check in with themselves and be like, okay, where am I acting out of alignment? Maybe my beliefs, my habits, my routines,
Mm.
maybe, even my thought patterns, or it could be as simple as just the label that I'm using to identify myself. Like, what is the label that I'm using? When I was first starting the process of writing my book, I had that, like, I mean, and I think it's such a great point to say, like, no one's 100% perfect all the time. In the beginning, I was just procrastinating writing. I would sit down and then I'd be like, oh, maybe I could go record a video. Maybe I could go record this, or like those dishes need cleaning. Like, I don't know. I could go do that instead. I was like, why am I procrastinating this? I know I really want it, but I'm not, doing it. And I finally like kind of sat down with myself and I was like, oh, like it's a part of my identity to be a content creator. Like that's a part of who I am now. I've been doing it for so long. And so it's very normal and familiar to me to go and do that. It's just part of who I am. It's like maybe like being an author needs to just be a part of who I am and writing. And so I literally just decided I'm an author now. That's who I am.
Hmm.
And when I decided that, I was like, okay, what does an author do? Well, they write. They write frequently, whether it be for 30 minutes or hours. And shifting my identity in just that simple little way of just literally choosing to identify myself as that and then asking myself, okay, well, what does that version of me do? Well, she writes. And I think I've, without knowing how this works, been doing this for a long time because when I was in college, I would go through kind of week spans where I'd just be having so much fun. Like I would be having so much fun with my friends and, going out, whatever, hanging out with them. And then, exam season would come around and I'd have like week or two straight of multiple exams. I'm like, oh, it's responsible girl Emily time, like responsible girl Emily. And literally like that was what I would do. I would, and all of a sudden now responsible girl Emily, she says no to plans.
Uh-huh.
She's staying in, she's studying all night. And it really worked for me. That's what I would
You
do.
shift into that different identity.
Yeah.
And then you step into it and you'd
Mm-hmm.
create boundaries to not go out and not party or not be distracted.
Yeah.
You'd shift into that identity. That's
Mm-hmm.
interesting. I've heard you say this before. You've said that we don't attract what we want, we attract what our brain is wired for. So before someone can manifest the change they want in their life, what has to change first at the identity level?
At the identity level, I mean, everything that the categories we've kind of mentioned thus
Mm.
far, the labels, the habits, beliefs, thoughts, energy. So I think all of that. But I think a huge component to why I say that is in that we don't attract what we want, we attract what our brain is wired for is deeper than just identity. I think it's also our programming because, from as we grow up, when we are first born, our brain is a sponge. We're born with the most connections we will ever have in our brain. And then as we learn and grow, our brain actually starts to like prune away these connections. And the pathways that are left is our programming or our conditioning. And I love this study that they did with the kittens, where they took these newborn kittens and they raised them in complete darkness, except for only a couple of hours a day, where they would put one group or they would put them individually into cylinders painted with either only horizontal black and white stripes or only vertical black and white stripes. And then after the kind of critical period of development, they put these kittens into a normal environment and they like for example, the kittens that were only ever raised to see the horizontal black and white stripes, they would like have a vertical bar and they'd wave it in front of these kittens. They wouldn't react to it. And so I find that this is so
Huh.
like true for us in our lives and so many people. It's like the things that we want a lot of the time are like they're around, like opportunities are there, but our brains are not wired to perceive them. And I
Mm.
remember when I learned about that kitten study, I was like, damn, like where am I a kitten in my own life? Like where am I a kitten in my own life? And we're all kittens in our own
Where
lives
are you right now?
somewhere. Honestly, I feel like this next level for me, I feel like I've had this very full circle moment. I mean, just being here, but also like I finished writing my book. I've grown my platform tremendously. I have a really successful business. I'm engaged in my dream relationship, like drive my dream car. I bought my dream house. Like I have all the things. And then I realized kind of, okay, like great, but what's next? Because joy, I mean, happiness, like to me, like one of my values is growth. And so it's not all about what I have, it's about feeling like I am growing as a person, but just in other areas of my life. And I think my next level is okay, it's time to write in some new beliefs.
Mm.
Because years ago, when I decided that this was the journey that I wanted to go on, I was a mad woman, like in my, affirmations, with my visualization, with just the way that I carried myself and very strict about the energy of the people that I keep around me and all of those things. And I mean, I can confidently say now that I'm pretty sure everything I ever wrote down has come true. And so now I'm kind of like, okay, well, what do I want to write down next? Like, what is
Mm.
like, okay, like I think now I am the kitten in my programming is the life I'm currently living. And I know that I foresee even greater levels for myself. And so now it's time to kind of wire in some new stripes to see. So
Oh, that's
that's where
cool.
I'm the kitten.
If you could go back, 3 years ago to the version of Emily you were 3 years ago, What is one belief system that you had to completely rip out of your brain to make this life possible?
I think being realistic and logical, that's probably the belief system
That's the belief system you had?
that I had to rip out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was yeah. So I grew up just very, parents in finance, like very logical, mathematical structure. But then also, in my own life and belief systems, like I always like math, science, and it's all very logical, and just the people around me as well is just very logical and rational. And so I kind of had to really on purpose train into my brain there are things that could happen that are outside of what you could ever imagine, and you have no idea what's going to happen today. And I think the first time I ever heard it was from Wayne Dyer, but he says no one knows enough to be a pessimist. Like we have no idea what's going to
Mm.
happen. And there's even days where I'm driving to the gym in the morning and I'm like, oh, I got so much to do today. I'm doing like this, that, whatever. And then pause and I remind myself, wait, like I have no idea what's going to happen today. Why am I having this mindset that I know how today is going to go? Like I have no idea how today is going to go. For all I know, some unexpected blessing or opportunity could come. Like I have no idea. And this specific day that I'm remembering, that's exactly what happened. Like a couple hours later, I'm in a meeting and I get like amazing news that
Wow.
makes like my month. So yeah, it's little moments like that that I had to open myself up to. And so I think for me, kind of having this, honestly, I did not used to believe, I mean, I was the opposite of what I believe now.
Really?
I had a friend my senior year of high school, and he would always be like, you could do anything you set your mind to.
You're like, shut
I
up.
would get mad. No, I would actually get mad and be like, don't say that. That's not true. Like,
Wow.
I had so much conditioning. I mean, I grew up like with so many different like mental illness and physical illnesses and, doctors just not knowing what's wrong with me. And so I had all of these reasons to just believe that life sucked and that you don't have agency in your life and that you can't create the life that you want. And so that was really the mindset that I had. And so there were a lot of beliefs that I had to rewire.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, around scarcity as well and like living in abundance and like making money. I had so many limiting beliefs around money and I had to kind of wire in like, oh no, like there are an infinite number of ways that money can come and really wire, I mean, so every different area, honestly. I talked to you about the relationship that I'm in before this and I mean, that was a big thing that I had to rewire as
Mhm.
well. And so I was a kitten in a lot of different areas of my life and when I identified, okay, these are the things that I'm wanting, I'm like, okay, well, what are my limiting beliefs that I have around that? And then, I kind of have a little bit of a process for kind of overcoming limiting beliefs. And one of those is by looking for evidence of the opposite. And, a lot of times we think that our beliefs are objectively true. And I always say, no, like go look for the evidence of the opposite. There are plenty of people that opportunities just come to them, money just comes to them. They are abundant. It's not that hard for them. And I think looking for evidence of the opposite and recognizing like, okay, that might be true based on my past experience, but it's not objectively true. And it just opens you up a little bit to be like, okay, maybe I could shift a little bit here and just being open to it, I think is the most important thing. And then, starting small with just little tweaks. And
Mhm.
I remember I would start very small, like, oh, like I'm gonna see a feather today. Like just little things to kind of build that
Yes.
belief muscle of, oh, wow, like I saw that feather. Okay, maybe
Mhm.
this works. And then, oh, money can come to me in expected and unexpected ways. And then I'm walking my dog and there's a $20 bill on the railroad tracks outside of my apartment. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy because I just wrote that down. And so just little things like that were kind of the beginning steps for me to kind of show me, okay, maybe this does work. And then that allowed me to grow into bigger
Wow.
things.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoy this and you want more inspirational content, make sure to click the subscribe button below and click right here to watch what's coming next.